Good morning, fellow humanists. My name is Todd Kimball, and I am opening the meeting this morning, but Jeff Strang will be serving as reader and MC for the rest of the meeting. And one of the reasons I'm opening the meeting right now is I have a good story for you. Yesterday, I was at the grotto in the chapel of all places. The first time I had set wheels in a chapel in a church in 10 years. I was hearing a friend of mine sing. She did a 1-hour concert performance. It was beautiful. And at the end, we hugged and she said, "Oh, the things a humanist will do for me." And I am covering my spiritual bases this weekend, folks, because I am very excited to listen in on this program. We heard last week the influential nature that the Barkett brothers had for 40 or so years at HGP. And today we get to hear the skillful art of songwriting. It's going to be an incredible presentation. Again, Jeff Strang will guide us through with the reading and the emceeing. So take it away, Jeff, with our reading today.
Okay, thanks, Todd. So the reading I chose is from the New Scientist that doesn't always have the best articles, but I thought this one was good. And it's a book review. It's called "Don't Use the Q Word." Quantum threads are said to connect us to the fabric of space-time and serve as a conduit for the universe's energy. It is enough to make Chris Ferry, a quantum theorist at the University of Technology, Sydney, rage. Firstly, because quantum threads don't actually exist, and secondly, because they are a clear example of his field of research being hijacked by opportunists keen to attach the word quantum to their product. Quantum bullshit. How to ruin your life with advice from quantum physics is Dr. Ferry's book, which offers readers the same playful exploration that Ferry's Newtonian Physics for Babies to 3-year-olds, but with much more colorful and less publishable language. He takes aim at the kind of profound-sounding quantum nonsense found on websites offering, quote, access to the quantum universe via meditation, hypnosis, and credit card transactions, unquote. Quantum X-Roid consciousness interface, which claimed to use quantum energy to treat conditions including cancer, was widely debunked, but is still being sold online. And when Ferry simply types his job title into a search engine, he receives offers on crystal Bibles that catalog new generation, high vibration stones for healing and transformation. Ferry places a moral question mark over articles covering such oddities as quantum love and others that combine particle physics with the Kama Sutra. These turn out to be written by researchers with doctorates. What elevates Ferry's book beyond a mere takedown of quantum quackery is how the author implicates his fellow physicists in some of the quantum BS. From early arguments about superposition to Albert Einstein's conviction that God doesn't play dice with the universe, all the way to current arguments over string theory, lack of agreement could explain why so many hawkers have moved in. Quote, Western culture has a love-hate relationship with science, unquote, Ferry observes, an ambivalence to progress unless it confirms our biases or saves our lives. Yet upcoming quantum technology must be, quote, built up slowly and carefully through international collaborations of scientists, unquote, he writes. There may well be no way, explains Ferry, for this kind of cutting-edge science to avoid opportunism and frankly odd speculation. He recounts how, when the first mechanical clock was invented, people argued about whether the human brain was in fact connected to the body in a cog-like fashion. Quantum physics, he explains, is particularly attractive to opportunists because it seems to fly in the face of the idea of the universe as a series of interconnected systems, leaving a lot of room for invention. While Ferry sticks to his task of debunking and clarifying throughout the book, at one point he asks himself whether it might have been smarter to write a quantum vegan cookbook instead. Perhaps he would have become richer, and that version of him may well exist in one of the parallel universes outlined in his explanation of the many worlds interpretation.
Thank you, Jeff. That was outstanding. And would you like me to introduce Pete, or would you like to do it?
Sure, go ahead, Todd.
Okay. Well, we have enjoyed Pete's music for decades now on the first Sunday of the month. And he has been such an influential member here at HDP. And it is a true treat to be able to hear the insights of a musical professional that has spent 5 decades in the music field. It's always amazing to hear things that you don't get to hear in standard lectures. So we get the true insights from a musical genius today, Mr. Pete Barkett.
That might be hard to live up to. Thanks. Now I got to throw out half of my notes here. I was going to talk about composing with string theory and quantum physics. Oh, well. All right. I put in the newsletter that I'm going to talk about melody, harmony, rhythm, lyrics, and I forgot to put in inspiration because I have a few anecdotes about what inspires some of these songs. But obviously combinations of all those elements go into every composition. I like analysis of pieces. Some people don't. So I'm hoping this will be interesting to me. I'm hoping some of it is interesting to you. But the most important thing isn't the analysis and, you know, the elements. It's whether or not you like the piece. And I think, a songwriter has to like what he's writing. And then you hope that the audience does too. I can remember the first time I wrote a song and was going to perform it for some friends, and I got to thinking, just by the fact that I'm saying this is my song and I'm going to sing it for you, I'm automatically saying I think it's good. And they might not agree. So I was filled with fear in those early days. But Paul and I, along with our cousin and our sister, collaborated on most of the songs we do. And so at that, in those early days, we were trying out things with each other and, voicing our opinions. So we got a little of that, evaluation and in advance. So I eventually lost that humility and became more arrogant. Now I kind of think my songs are good, and if you don't like them, well, go listen to someone else. But a couple of these songs I'm doing are bigger pieces that we never did in nightclubs or anything. So I hope you've gone to the bathroom before this, because some of them are long. I try to combine pop music, folk, jazz, classical, blues, calypso, ragtime, anything that interests me, I put into the songs. But I would say you don't want to be a perfectionist. I remember hearing Jimmy Webb, the guy who wrote MacArthur Park, talking about I am a lineman from the county, a Wichita lineman. And the end of it is, and I need you more than want you. And I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. So he said he realized years after he had written that it was a false rhyme. I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. And the Wichita line is still on the line. And he said if he had realized that when he was writing it, he would have scrapped it. And that turned out to be the most famous line, I think, that he wrote, the most popular. So I think if you're a perfectionist, you're going to lose a lot of good stuff. So speaking of lyrics, most of the time in popular music, lyrics are unimportant and often bad. The beat and the hook are more important. One of my favorites is this, I said to no one there, and no one heard at all, not even the chair. That one has always bugged me. I mean, I don't want to be a perfectionist, but here's Neil Diamond, who sold 100 million copies. You couldn't think of something better than even the chair? I immediately thought, and nobody cared, or the best one was, no one heard it all, not even my prayer. I mean, there are so many better lines than that. Thus say, though, I've written some terrible ones. I wrote a song that starts with, we've been to the races down in Pimlico. Every horse that I bet on didn't win or place. It didn't even show. So I hitchhiked up to Harrah's Lake Tahoe. Wait a minute. Pimlico, for some reason I had it in my head that Pimlico was a racetrack, and I know nothing about horse race, in Southern California. But that's Santa Anita. If I had been thinking of Golden Gate Fields in the Bay Area, that might have been better to hitchhike to Lake Tahoe. But Pimlico fit, so I left it. Yeah. You could say that I hitchhiked up to Harrah's Lake Tahoe because it's high elevation. But hitchhiking from Baltimore, which I think is where Pimlico is, to Lake Tahoe, it's a stretch. But the lyrics are so important, I would do a little quiz. Hooray for Hollywood. Does anybody know any other line of that song? Da 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 da, Hollywood. Great song. Everyone loves it. Nobody knows what the words are. Right? No, I don't know them either. I was thinking of looking it up, but I'm talking too much anyway. Okay. So now I think I will, maybe we can screen share. I'll do one that has extremely simple melody and extremely simple lyrics, but a very complicated chord progression. I picked up some of these, I'll talk about inspiration a little later, but from when I sang in a choir in college, a lot of choral music has really interesting chord progressions. And so I thought of I can't remember the piece, but it had a little bit of this beginning. The melody on this is just, so it's not, Brahms or anything, but the chords lyrics are not normal. So let's try this one. I have loved you since I met you. You have been a dream to me, and your arms hold me warmly. This is where I want to be. Oh, it's true. I love you. I would love you in a million. I will always feel this way. I like instrumental interludes, as you'll find out. in this.
By the way, Pete, your lyrics have stopped working, but we're going to do it again.
Oh, uh-oh. I was going to have them put the lyrics on the screen because a lot of times the first time you hear a song, it's hard to understand the lyrics. And I might forget them. I wrote some of these songs when I was younger. I can still almost play them, and I can maybe sing them. Well, we'll find out. I got to say about that song, I wrote that when I was in love with two women at the same time. And when I started working on it, I thought, geez, should I do this? Who am I writing this for? I don't even know which one. I'm writing it for both of them. And I thought, it's a good song, I'm going to do it. Some composers, or writers, they write really personal things about their families and things. I can't do that. I have to wait till they die.
Did you tell them the song was for each of them?
I never mentioned it. I figured it's just anonymous. It's just a love song. Right? Okay, inspiration. So that was an inspiration. talk about a couple different things. A song that we wrote about our hometown is about a guy who's at the end of his life. I'm not going to sing this one though. At the end of his life, he's realizing that he's never going to accomplish his dreams. So I started working on an idea of a guy plodding down the road, old, and tired. The bass line of this starts off. I thought, I wonder how far I can keep going with that. I got to there and then had to come back up. Just the beginning just goes. So then it comes back up. We got to record that in LA with one of the best studio drummers. His name was Hal Blaine, because the guy producing our demo knew him, and he was really good. We got into an argument with the producers. They thought it was a happy song. And Paul and I were saying, no, it's about this guy who's a loser. He's failed. He lost his love. He's lost everything. And Hal Blaine looked up from his drums and said, yeah, listen to the lyrics. It's a sad song. And then the producer said, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Hal says it's a sad song. All right. But some of the inspirations I've had have come from drills. You know, that your ring finger is the weakest, and left hand ring finger is real weak. So one day I started thinking, oh, I'll do this little drill. This one is, it's in 5/4 time. I'll just do a little here. So I turned it into a little jazz improv. Little things like that. And then I had another little left-hand drill. And this one turned into a song called You Want a Lover. Very youthful lyrics, we might say. I submitted this song to a songwriter contest and lost in the first round, but they sent notes. And the note said, you should, and it was just the lyrics part. And they said, you should put a bridge in there. So I thought, yeah. I put in a classical influenced bridge in a rock song and lost again in the first round. But this song, this one moves better than any song I've written. So see if I can still play it.
it's a one-sided love affair. Her side is up in the air, and you won't care as long as you are free as the sun in the sky. So high, I have seen how you operate when you want a date for some fun. You will seem sincere and forever near, but you're ready to run. You wanna love her. You wouldn't love her, but you take her for the usual ride. You take her, then you'll set her aside, and you won't care as long as you are free as the sun in the sky. So high. I've seen how you hypnotize with those big brown eyes just for fun. You will hesitate till the hour's late and your game's just begun. You wanna love her. You wouldn't love her. It's a simple little love affair. One day you might wish she was there, but now she's just a token in this dream that you built to the sky. So high.
Yeah, didn't quite stick the ending there, but oh boy, these songs were a lot easier to sing when I was 25. Yeah, and that one had three-part harmony. Paul and Mary and I would sing that together. Now I want to get to the serious pieces. I've found it's easier a lot. Most pop songwriters, you start with a hook. You know, you have a line or something that, and then you work from that, build the song around it. This one kind of started with the hook, but it's more difficult to have an idea of a message that you want to put out, and then you start writing from that. This one has got elements of both. The hook was, Paul came up with this little thing. Well, her life was simply music. Da 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 da. That's all we had in the beginning. Paul and our cousin Bob got together. They worked on that for quite a while, never came up with anything that they liked to go from that. So I said, how about I'll give it to me. I started working on it, and at different points, it took years, literally years, because I would work on it a little, and then I'd leave it for a while, and then I'd hear something, or I'd get some other little idea, and I go, oh, that might work with that part, and put it together. I put the music together first, and I didn't know what it was going to be about. And I kept searching and searching, and then one day, I was at the University of Washington. Paul and I were singing up in Seattle, and back in those days, this was in the 70s, the music departments, most of them had their music rooms open. And I would go, and this is before synthesizers and electric pianos and things, so if I wanted to practice, I would go, while we're singing at a club at night, I'd go to a university or college during the day and sneak into the piano practice rooms and practice. And then a lot of them had little windows on the door, so I would also go, I'd take a break from practicing and walk around and look in all the windows for cute girls. And one night at the University of Washington, I realized that I was the only person in the building with one woman, a young woman. And it occurred to me, well, this could be dangerous, you know? Big, you know, it's like a 4-story building. One whole floor was piano practice rooms. And so that gave me the idea for this one. And then I started working on the lyrics and getting going. Now this one starts, no, I never met the girl. But she was in a piano room. Some of them were just little, I was in a little tiny room, you know, you got the piano and the walls right there. She was in one of the bigger practice rooms that like string quartet might practice, or quintet. And so there were music stands, and it was a larger room. But she was all alone there in the back. So this song is about 10 minutes long. It has a circular opening and ending, and which for me suggested that, just heard the quote yesterday, what is it, the arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice, you know. That just kind of suggests that wheel of life, that things keep repeating, but gradually you make progress. So this starts with the narrator, then a young woman, and I have to sing the women's parts, so this could be painful. And then briefly a guy, and then back to the young woman with her supporters, and then back to the narrator. And the theme, the song is about rape, which is why I eventually called it Me Too Trilogy. The theme of the violence later on comes back as the theme of the support for the woman.
Well, her life was simply music, so she practiced every day. And the limit on her social life was the price she had to pay. She had good friends and family, but no boyfriend as a rule. She had planned on taking care of that after finishing with school. So she walked down to the practice rooms on a balmy Friday night. It was quieter than usual in the hall, a burned out light. On the campus it was pledge week, kegger parties were going strong, though she didn't realize as she played pretty soon she was alone. So she ran through her arpeggios and dreamed it would be fun to drop her scales and practice drills off to parties she would run. She dreamed she'd meet a young man there who would shyly take her hand. Soon they happily would dance all night to the playing of the band. But she had to work an hour more, so she put off having fun. She was not the only lonely soul. There was another with a gun. There he stood, gun in hand, pushing past music stands. Oh my God, this can't be real. Round my neck, a grip of steel. Oh, what can I do? What can I say? Don't want to lose consciousness. I must get away. It's no good to deny it. You want me deep inside. I'll make your dreams come true. You'll be mine when I'm through. Badly bruised and battered, but soon I will be fine. They act as if the guilt is mine. I was not as careful as I should have been, but being absent-minded isn't a sin. I just can't believe what's becoming clear to me. It's a prevalent belief that the fault's not with the thief, and that makes no sense, though some would legitimize this wrong. Now it's going to stop with me. Women have been taking this abuse too long. It's time we realized we are strong. I've got to get my strength back and think this whole thing through. Then I'll put together what I should do. I've got to keep in mind I was the victim of the crime. Now I'm safe and free. I will walk with dignity. Still I'll try to understand the inner torment of a man whose hatred flares so savagely. We must all take a vow not to rest. If we allow men to think they are free to condone brutality, the images that we've held of women are wrong. By suffering in silence, we let this go on. Well, the aftermath of violence bears the plain reality. Many battles lie ahead, there'll be no sudden victory. But she fights against oppression and shouts down tyranny. And she proudly sets her sights on fostering equality. And the man who thought he gave her what all women want deep down was convicted in a court of law and no longer is around. Well, the life's not simply music. There's more work now, but it seems that she still finds time to dance all night with the young man of her dreams. La, 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 la.
Thanks. So, I'm gonna be overtime. In a recording, that one would have faded out, but we had to put an ending on it. Okay, this one now is 24 minutes long. It's a sweet 5 parts. So I better do this quick. I like to have the movements move one right into the other with very little break, or no break sometimes between the movements. The first part is an up-tempo, and it has an instrumental bridge. The second part is a real simple little repetitive chord progression with a simple melody. It's a slower tempo. Third part is also a slow tempo, but it takes the bridge from the first part and makes that the melody for the third part. Then the fourth part introduces a all new theme. It's up-tempo. It's a 2-chord progression alternating in 2 keys. And then it becomes a slower tempo, a 7-chord progression. And the bridge goes back to the opening instrumental part, but has lyrics to it. And then finally, the fifth part is a very slow tempo, 2-chord repeating with a simple melody, but it brings back the opening theme. Yeah. So, see, I love the analysis part, but this is called Sweet for Oh You Know, First Love.
Lady, believe me, here's what I do. I'd be a scholar just to please you. If you could just see that when we love, we can overpower the difficult hours. You're on your way, but you don't know quite where I'm going. You choose to obey, and I make my own rules when I can. You saw yourself that I'm not everything they said I'd be. In some ways I'm free, in other ways I'm just like you. I know when you're scared to see me, that the feeling isn't deeply there. I want to try and break those odds and make you see. I am in love with you. In love with you. Once I could see just where I believed we ought to be, in our own home, with special things to call on, in your work and mine. In its own way we'll try to help mankind. Once I'd have said we can do it all. Waiting for snow to run down into streams, releasing tired limbs and joy. Sometimes when we're away, I fear that when we return, the look in your eyes will say, I'm sorry, it's not there anymore. Goodbye. Waiting on my lady, or does she wait for me? I watch as her world revolves, turning so slow, waiting alone is me. Heavy leaning branches reach down to the ground. How long we stay on the vine, I ask no more. When can we pour the wine? Still it seems like always we're blinded in our roads. This segment must end ere long. I fear the change still won't remain. Oh, my lady, please see through me, and in yourself new hope you will see. Doubt, frustration in all you've known. What can you do but run back home? Run back home. And I don't want to build a pedestal for you. Nor do I want you to give yourself to me. I want you to give yourself to you. Then take me to you too. Just as I gladly would take you unto me. Don't you think that that's how it ought to be? And when you're tired and feel you don't belong, turn to me, I'm strong. That's how I still must be. And it's my strength that makes me free. I'm free, free, I'm free. Why can't you be? Oh, my lady, how can it be that you have held this image of me? Oh, contrary to all you've known, what can you do but run back home? Run back home. Still I want you to know that I never go. If you'd be my wife, let me share your life like sweet harmony, like one unity, like sighs breathed and heard, like wings of a bird. touch is all I need when I don't feel strong. Your touch is all I need when crises arise. You send me off God's speed when tears fill my eyes. Through your love I've been freed, and I want you to know that
And I'm overtime.
Yeah, I guess now it's time for questions. If
That
you
was rather amazing. I didn't even know you composed it all, and you have composed some very creative, some of it complicated music. It reminds me of a couple of Schubert song cycles. Anyway, one question is on that last one, the 5 songs. What came first on your mind, the words or the music, or was there some scrambled mix when you created that?
Oh, boy. That was 50 years ago when I, I began. I had to try to remember. I can't remember at all. I think I just started putting together, I probably some of the chord progressions that I liked, and then I started getting lyrics. Although for the opening, I am in love with you, I like to try to write songs that are lyrics that are conversational. It's try to make it the way you would speak it if you were saying it. Unlike, I did write one song where or many of the emphasis are on the wrong syllables, which is kind of fun.
Pete, one last very short question. Early on, you played something with some unusual chords, some chords, quite different chords. And I'm wondering, I keep wondering that when I hear a lot of classical music, I'm wondering, did the composer do that just mainly to satisfy himself, or just to meet expectations of the audience, or some kind of mix? So those unusual chords, were they just to satisfy you mostly, or what?
When I'm writing, I do think about the audience. Mainly, I think you have to please yourself, you know, but there are parts where I'm thinking, oh, I think the audience will like this, you know. Yeah, it's a mixture. Yeah.
Yeah, Kay, want to be on deck after Robert? Robert, you can ask your question first.
I was just going to say that I could have met Pete 50 years ago if somebody from the music department had noticed some trespassing interloper on the pianos that did not belong and was not authorized. They'd have called the university police department and I could have shown up.
Yeah, that would
So-
have been great.
Several of your pieces, you use different time signatures different words and different time signatures and different melodies. Are you trying to match the beat with the impact of the lyrics?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to figure out which one was happening at each moment,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Well, that's-
that's great.
Yeah, that's something that music, it's, I think, easier than poetry because you have the music in the background to give an idea of the emotion, where poetry, you've got to create it completely. Yeah. Robert, I would say there was a time, Jeannie went to the University of Pacific in my hometown of Stockton, and I used to go to the conservatory, and every once in a while there'd be nobody in there, and it had about 500 seats, and I would wheel out the grand piano and put it in the center of the stage and practice. And back then I was playing more classical stuff, and one day I was doing that, and this guy walks in the back, and he says, "Excuse me, who are you?" And I said, "I'm just from town here, and I'd just like to come over here and practice on these really nice pianos." And he said, "Well, I'm the dean of the conservatory. You aren't supposed to be here, but it sounded okay, so go ahead for another hour." And he let me go. I don't have any memorized anymore. I'd have to work up a classical show later.
Pete, you should have said, "My name's Paul Barkett."
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question, want to step up to the mic and
Yeah, I just wanted to, I like your bridges best, but I wanted to ask about how often your music divides off when you find a theme that's part of something and then you go, oh wait, this is its own thing, versus when you take something, you put a bridge in, or you say this belongs integrated. How does this branching and reintegration go?
That's a good question. I don't always know myself. But like I said, in a couple of those, the bridge became the melody for another part. And I like to bring back the themes from the beginning and to tie it all together at the end. But yeah, sometimes I think it's just luck. You think, oh, that would work there, you know, or you sit down and you're just fooling around and, you know, an idea comes to you. Yeah, there have been times, yeah, when I've forgotten what I had some idea and I didn't write it down right at the moment, and I came back later and I couldn't remember it. And it's like, oh, damn, that was such a, of course, sometimes you have those great ideas. It's like when you're stoned, they're not so great. But you hate to lose one.
That sounds like my writing.
Yeah. It's a process, right?
I guess I'll ask one last question. How do you remember all that?
It's getting harder. There were There were a couple of times in the middle of that much before the next line, I couldn't remember what the next line was. And then it comes. Used to do that on stage quite a bit, you know, when we were performing. And now that we're getting older, sometimes I get that close and then I don't remember. And then about 30 seconds later, I go, oh yeah, that's what that line is. Yeah.
Well, thanks again for a great presentation, Pete.
Oh, thank you.